Well, happy December, everybody. We're about to take it to the mic stand. I wait for more people to show up. Um, it's our favorite time of the year. That's right, as we are now 24 days away from Christmas. Holiday cheer. Well, the world is believing that mistletoe feeling. Hey, Leto, you're here. Hey, yay! Somebody actually here now. Hey, Leto. Hey, Leto. Holiday cheer. Well, the world is believing that mistletoe feeling. Yeah, you kind of missed last night. Even though we went kind of long, um, went through 6 stories. So I don't know if you actually went back and watched some of that or not. But anyways, how'd your day go today? See, how are you, dude? Yes, they gave me off Tuesdays and yesterday, so I slept all day yesterday. How? Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll also get a chance to catch some of Friday night's stream when we go through, April of 1936 in the comic scene. What I can tell you tonight is I've got 5 stories tonight, and they're all anime related. So, hmm. So you had yesterday and today off, and you slept all day yesterday. Huh? So what did you do today? Well, we know you slept all day yesterday. So what did you do anything exciting today, there, Leto? Well, I went shopping with the wife, spent an arm and a leg, but it was early Christmas. Yep. Yeah, we're like now 24 days away. We're like 3.5 weeks away from Christmas now, which I think lands on a Friday. I think it's like 3 weeks on this Friday, Christmas Day. And of course, I'll still be streaming Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, as well as New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So for those who want to come on. Yeah. Right now, it's just the two of us. We wait for more people to show up. With my new schedule change, I'll be working it most likely. Well, that sucks. Uh, that mistletoe feeling, it's our favorite time of the year. Holiday snow. Well, the world is believing that mistletoe feeling. It's our favorite time of the year. Making a big to do about this Christmas. Making a big to do about it all. Hanging stockings all around. Making a big to do about this Christmas. Hmm. Hmm. Hey Mike, what anime are you currently watching? Well, let's see. As part of my afternoon tsunami block, actually one of the shows I'm watching in there is not technically anime; it's more cartoon. But my afternoon block is the New Adventures of Batman from back in 1977, which was done by Filmation. That's not technically anime, but still goes with the afternoon stuff. Let's see. I'm also watching Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Um, I just started watching uh, Pokemon again. I went all the way back to the beginning, and I'll be working my way through that. All the way back to the Indigo League. Um, and the Gray Man. That's my afternoon block, and then my Adult Swim block or my night block. Um, I'll probably be starting tonight. I'll probably be starting to rewatch the Irresponsible Captain Tyler. I'm also watching Android Kikaider, the animation, Nana, and regarding Hamatora. So those are basically what I'm watching right now. Those eight. Gundam Wing is great. Oh man, Pokemon is too long. Well, yeah, but when you're trying to do like what I'm doing, it's like trying to recreate a particular experience. You know, and you're looking at like anime slash cartoon blocks like that, and you're trying to recreate those. That for me, that's kind of fun. Um, and plus, since I'll be going through every Pokemon series up to date, but of course that means that place will be held for the New York crowd. Um, for the New York crowd, for the New York based dub voice act for that afternoon spot. Um, yeah. And if you can also just, if you haven't already, if you can remember to like and share so we can see if we can get some more people here, that would help things out too, Leto. Um, just get the algorithm up. So maybe we can try to attract some more people in here and see if we can um, get a few more people in here. That does sound fun. Every thought of making watch party blocks like on Twitch might be a good niche to fill. Um, no, I haven't for basically a couple reasons. One One is I'm not exactly sure how that all works. Right now, I'm just working through YouTube on my streams here. I mean, I know that I could theoretically maybe also add, Twitch to it as well, because I do have a Twitch account. Um, but I'm not exactly sure how all that would work from the technical side of it. Um, plus, and the other reason is that um, the site I use for my watching is I personally now, mind you, I personally don't see it as this way, but the site I particularly use for doing my anime watching is considered it would probably be considered a pirate site. So that might get that might get some people into trouble. So that's why I don't necessarily I don't necessarily see it as pirating, but some people do. So yeah, yeah, usually I figured see we're up to like 12 minutes now, so hmm, may give it till about 15, then I'll probably get going here on the stories. Um, so let's see, and I know I'm well. I'm just, as I said, I'm the only reason I'm like being kind of thrown here. Oh, laugh out loud! I used to use sites like those, but hated the malware, so I stopped. Other than that, don't see nothing wrong. Well, yeah, because the way I look at it, it's just like watching it on TV. If you can find the television station on your TV, if you can find the site on the internet, shouldn't be a problem. Especially if, let's say, the work is either older or stuff that's pretty much out of print. Because one of the other advantages about these sites too is a lot of times they'll have older stuff that's either out of print or just not in circulation anymore because people you know people don't don't always think think of it popularly. Let's see, 14 minutes here. And still only two of us here. Ah, let's see now. So I guess I can go ahead and start like talking about what's on tap for tonight. So as I said, I have five stories, all of them um all of them anime related. Two of them are stories we kind of saw last night as we were breezing on another story that anonymity was saying something about those two Toonami stories. So those are two of the stories we're going to look at. There's a couple of Attack on Titan stories that we'll look at, as well as a Sailor Moon short story. So that's what's on tap for tonight. Some Toonami stuff, some some Attack on Titan stuff, and some Sailor Moon stuff. So that's what's pretty much on tap tonight. And now that we're past the 15-minute mark, even though there's only two of us here right now, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, go ahead and get started on it. So here we go. So first up, let me screen share. Okay, so the first story we're going to look at, let's start with the two. Let's start with the two Toonami stories first. Toonami's first 10 anime in chronological order. I know that I know that I think Anonymity was the one who called my attention to this. I think he was the one who noticed. I don't know if it's this one or the other. Well, no, it was this one. And then as I went through, as we're reading the rest of the article here, this is from the Adult Swim article we read last night. This is one of the kind of side stories that was in it, or link stories. So, so here we go. Toonami's first 10 anime in chronological order. The advent of Cartoon Network's Toonami block made serious strides in making anime a mainstream commodity in North America. And you, of course, see right there, let's see. So you got in the middle there, you got Krillin from Dragon Ball. You got, can't even remember his name right now. But on the far right there of your screen is, I think that's the guy from Outlaw Star, the captain from Outlaw Star. And then that might be a Gundam on the far left there. So it's been truly remarkable to watch how anime has evolved from a niche interest in America to one of the most popular forms of content, with several streaming services devoted to this form of animated content. Back during the late 90s, there were barely any means to encounter anime in America. But the advent of Cartoon Network's new Toonami block made serious strides to change this. Now, Toonami is what they call a portmanteau. It's a word where you jam two words together to make one. So the idea Toonami is like cartoon tsunami, basically jammed together. That's kind of where that all. Let's see. You have to say here. The Sailor Moon thing reminds me of a thing I did today. Wife and I went to Katie Mills Mall, and they had these Japanese gotcha machines, and she played the Sailor Moon one and got um, little coin purses. Ah, cute memories. So let's continue on with the story then here. Let's see. Toonami had experienced many changes over time, but it's still one of the premier destinations to watch anime on television. The current series on the Toonami block are some of the most popular anime that are currently airing. But the shows that kicked off Toonami tell a much more interesting story. Let me just see some. Oh, first, yeah, Thundercats, March 17th, 1993. And a quick note: this Thundercats series is not an anime. Actually, it's technically a cartoon. It was actually produced by Rankin Bass along with Silverhawks back in the 80s. So, um, but yeah, Toonami, I do remember had more of a mix of like anime and obviously Western action adventure cartoons. So And from left to right, you got Tigra, Panthro, Snarfer in front of Panthro, Lionel, and then you got Chitara with Wily Kit and Wily Cat right there. So Thundercats is the bizarre mix of sensibilities that manages to take eccentric cat-like warriors and make them seem like accessible heroes. It's so strange that it works, and there's a reason that the series has recently been rebooted. 1985's Thundercats, which is what this is, I grew up on this, is a strange anomaly since it has American origins with an American audience in mind. But it's animated by a Japanese studio with a Japanese director and production manager on board. Um, this combination of sensibilities makes Thundercats a bit of a cheat, but also an oddly perfect um, show to debut on Toonami, signaling um, Cartoon Network's slow transition towards Japanese animation. Yes, the company that technically produced Thundercats '85 was technically Rankin Bass, even though I think they, as they just mentioned, they did use Japanese animators, but I still don't think anybody really thinks of it as anime, Western animation. Rebooted twice and failed. Yeah. Yeah, Thundercats Ho and Thundercats Roar, I believe, right? Uh, Moving on to the next one here. Robotech, January 12th, 1998. Now, that was a Toonami run on it, but it did run here in the States. Robotech is the American name for a Macross, for the Macross series. Um, it was dubbed originally by Harmony Gold and dubbed out here in LA back in, I think it was like 85, 86. So let's let's see what we got here. Robotech may seem old fashioned or simplistic to modern audiences, but it's a formative anime series and a fantastic getaway into the mecha genre. For that reason, Robotech was an ideal anime to be one of the first series to hit Toonami, but its sprawling story of humans, aliens, and technology didn't necessarily catch on. It likely didn't help that Toonami only aired the Macross and Robotech Masters arcs um, rather than the whole series. Mecha anime would eventually catch on with Toonami, but it'd take a little more time. Well, also Robotech, even though it debuted on Toonami in 1998 here, this was not the first time it was shown in America. It was shown back in the late 80s. You know, as I said, it was originally dubbed by Harmony Gold. So, um, Thundercats' third reboot will be renamed Thundercats No to save the audience time. That's funny. That's funny. Number 8, Sailor Moon, June 1st, 1998. Now, of course, this was the deep dub. I believe, this was the deep dub that they used from back in the 90s, just after it came out. Deep dub was broadcast here in the States, I believe, in the midnight, like 94, 95. Um, Sailor Moon was originally aired in Japan in 1992, along with, of course, Yu Yu Hakusho. But Sailor Moon here, June 1st, 1998. Okay. If Dragon Ball Z was one of the first major anime series on Toonami to appeal to the male demographic, then Sailor Moon was meant to appeal to the female crowd and help diversify the programming block. Um, Sailor Moon actually hit syndication in 1995, 2 years before it would premiere on um, Toonami. Well, that would be technically more like 3 years because they're saying this came out in 1990. It hit Toonami or premiered on Toonami 1998. Okay, 1995. That's 3 years, not two. Sailor Moon, is one of those anime series that was very emblematic of the 1990s. And while the Magical Girl series may not fit with Toonami's programming, it was a crucial leg of the block back during its start. Well, I don't know if I would entirely agree with that statement, just simply because of the fact, okay, yes, Sailor Moon was magical girl type, but you did have a lot of action adventure series in it, which Toonami in part was meant to be. It featured a lot of action adventure series. Sailor Moon, yes, was part of the magical girl genre, but it also had, you did have some considerable, you did have some considerable action adventure scenes in it, as well as like the romantic side of it. I mean, Lita and Ray were both capable, martial artists. Maybe Serena wasn't. I know Shaggy wasn't quite the fighter, but you know Shaggy wasn't quite the fighter. Amy was probably okay, but but yeah, Ray, Lita, and even Mina were all you know pretty good fighters. Now granted, in Mina's case, a lot of it was more knowing how to fight on screen, like in movies and stuff like that. But still, that still takes some. I mean, just like in professional wrestling, where they go through some, considerable amount of training. So, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon on Telemundo in Spanish after they aired translated WWF wrestling matches on Sunday morning. Yeah. Um, Yeah, well, it was again even before Toonami. Some of these animes had runs on American stations and syndication and stuff like that. In fact, I think all the ones so far had previous runs on like in syndication prior to this. So, and Dragon Ball also the Dragon Ball franchise also had some syndicated runs there. So, number 7, Dragon Ball Z, August  31st, 1998. Let's see what. And here's another one with Dragon Ball. As I said, Dragon Ball Z had. They also had a syndicated run prior to debuting on Toonami. So these first like 4 animes had previously been run in syndication prior to their debut on Toonami. So there was some knowledge of them prior to this. There's no other anime that feels more representative of Toonami than Dragon Ball Z. Toonami didn't just help popularize the action anime series in North America, but it's remained a staple of the block and is still used to anchor Toonami's growth, even though those who are running Toonami have changed hands because back a lot of times when this was starting off, LA was the big influencer. Granted, I don't think Bing Zoom was around yet, but Genion and Bandai, which were based out here in Southern California, were the big influencers. Funimation wasn't even a thing. Wasn't really. They were around, but they weren't like didn't have the influence they did now. So and see, August 31st, 1998. So now what you have to realize, too, these are all anime programs, but back in these days, of course, Toonami was a mix of anime and Western animation. So let's see now. Where were we? Okay. Toonami's success with Dragon Ball Z helped open up anime in general to the mainstream, with everyone trying to find the next big series. Goku's continued adventures against the evil forces were just what budding anime fans were after, and the series has helped inform Toonami's makeup for years to come. Now we get to the first series that I think was not previously um, broadcast on American TV. And this one debuted September 27, 1999. And it was Ronin Warriors. Oh, Leto, it's just you and me right now. Still up to this point. They better mention Yu Yu Hakusho on this list. That's number one on my favorite. Yeah, but funny how you should say that, Leto, because I'm the same way. I'm a big Yu Yu Hakusho fan, but I don't know. We're gonna wait and see because they're saying this is the first 10 anime series in chronological order. Okay, I think that, as I recall, I think they started broadcasting Yu Yu Hakusho in 2010. We're kind of into late 1999, so it's possible. They'll probably that might be. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, um, this is basically the first 10 series that they got licensed in chronological order. So a major component of the Toonami lineup isn't just its focus on anime dubs, but also the figure Tom, who has come in to introduce the block for many years. Tom wasn't always a part of Toonami, but his first appearance coincides with the premiere of Ronin Warriors. Originally known as Legendary Armor Samurai Troopers in Japan, Ronin Warriors. Now, from what I understand, a Ronin is like a wandering samurai, as I recall. Um, Comes from Sunrise. Sunrise, who also did, of course, Big O, among other. There are a few famous animes that Sunrise was a part of, and almost plays like a more masculine version of the Magical Girls series. Ronin Warriors remains a curious footnote for Toonami, but it hints at the direction the block would go in. So, and then there's the picture of Ronin Warriors right there, November 27, 1999. So, yeah, it's possible, and we're just up to the first like half of the list. So, it's possible Yu Yu Hakusho will be on this list. But we'll have to wait and see. G-Force Guardians of Space. January 2nd, 2000 was when it made it. Now, I grew up watching this prior to it coming on Toonami. G-Force, um, when I grew up, was called Battle of the Planets. It was dubbed. Um, it was dubbed by a different company way back then. G-Force, or as it was called in Japan, Gatchaman. Gatchaman originally came out back in 1972. And then its first dub was done in 78. I don't remember the company's name, but it it was controversial in that they severely edited it because what they wanted to do is they wanted to turn it into a Saturday morning cartoon. So they had to cut out a lot of the more like violent aspects of the series. They cut out so much of the thing in that Battle of the Planets dub, though, is that they actually had to add segments and therefore add a character by the name of Seven Zark Seven, a robot who was in like a um, submarine, or not submarine, but basically underwater base, who would sit there and observe and narrate the story. So, but G Force, from what I understand, when it was brought to Toonami, it was the all the content was restored basically, or they I think they I it was either they um let's see. Yeah, let me see that. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that. I don't remember Gatchaman being on Toonami. Yeah, I think it was for a little while there. Well, looked into it, but yeah, I recall when I think G Force it had been previously been on syndication, like on TBS, I believe, as G Force in the late '80s. It was where they had redubbed it and they re-edited it to make it match the original more. Whereas the term that was used to consider the Battle of the Planets dub was Battlerization. So anyway, I gotta go off camera for just a moment. I'll be right back. All right. So, anyways, back to this. Continue on here. Um, G Force Guardians of Space is technically the first anime to ever air on Cartoon Network. Back in 1995, Guardians of Space is an Americanized version of Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. The series is very much a response to the trend that Battle of Planets ignited in America, but the space travel series was treated more like filler for Toonami. So yeah, so I do remember that, where they probably showed it on Cartoon Network as well. Um, it was a program to take up a slot after Robotech and Voltron ended, and only a handful of episodes were shown rather than a more complete run. It's likely the most obscure anime from Toonami's earlier slates. That's probably why then you don't remember it being on, because essentially what they're saying here, they basically put it in there to just fill the gap when the other two series had had ended. That's probably why you don't remember it. Probably was like, it's one of those things where if you blinked, you missed it, kind of thing is what they're basically saying. So, anyways, as we continue on here, one of the ones that we were just talking about, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, March 6th, 2000. This is the one I'm actually watching right now on my own here. Um, yeah, okay. Now what I'm seeing here is they may if they do get to Yu Yu Hakusho, it's going to be the very last one. It looks like, but we'll wait and see here. Gundam Wing isn't the first mecha series to air on Toonami, but it's the most popular. Um, that helped kickstart fascination with the series. Gundam Wing is an edgier take on um, franchise with brooding teenage pilots that seemed like perfect figures to be on Toonami. Gundam Wing was also the first Toonami series to air with an edited and unedited version, with the uncut version airing exclusively on Toonami's Midnight Run block, which set a um, helpful precedent for more adult anime series. They're saying here it's not the first mecha series. Actually, well, yeah, they're probably right. That's right. 'Cause Robotech would have been the first mecha series. Yeah, Robotech was been the first mecha series on the Toonami block. Okay. So number three, Tenchi Muyo, July 3rd, 2000. Um, and I guess didn't have anything to say about that. Hmm. Gundam Wing was good, but I like G Gundam. Mobile Fighter G Gundam. I just had watched that a while ago. But anyway, so the next one here is Tenchi Muyo, and I've watched this before. This Tenchi Muyo series, the Tenchi series, across all of them is pretty good. Um, a lot of anime that air on Toonami skew more towards action series. Tenchi Muyo shows the block trying to do something else by testing a series that's more slice of life or a harem anime. Yeah, well, that's true, but it also did have some action adventure elements. You had like kind of space war and all that going on. So that's why it was able to kind of squeeze into Toonami. Yet one that still features chaos in space. Tenchi Muyo is wildly popular in Japan, but its more laid back and comedic status nature didn't play as well on Toonami. The anime sequel series, Tenchi Universe and Tenchi in Tokyo, followed in July and August respectively, but it's unlikely to ever air on Toonami again. I would have to agree with that. And that's a shame because this is actually a pretty fun series to watch. I I would have to agree that they'll probably will never show Tenchi Muyo on Toonami again. Um, Partly because it's not quite as filled with action adventure, but also with the way things are right now with the whole woke culture and stuff. There's stuff that goes on in there that the SJWs would just be having continuous fits about. They'd just be having like they'd be crying a river over this series. It's probably I would have to say it's probably one of the funnest series you'll ever watch because of all the zaniness that goes on in it. But SJWs won't be able to get past the fact that oh he's a man and he's got all those girls and those girls are like all over him. That's a D. Uh, Anyways, and I did see your comment on the YouTube side of it, but it's not showing up on StreamYard yet. Yeah, Leto. Yeah, you make it another interesting point there too. Is if they did do a Tenchi Muyo reboot, they probably would try to make it trans, or that's probably what some of the people who currently run Toonami would probably want it to be, just so they could say they're pushing an agenda and doing, well, we're doing the right thing. Blue Submarine number 6, November 6th. Yeah, Sean Leto, I don't really think that Yu Hakusho is going to get on this list unless it's like the last one, because that's going to be quite a bit of a jump there. November 2000, Yu Hakusho started showing in America in like 2002. So I doubt very seriously if, and that is kind of a shame. But anyways, I'll be right back. Okay, so Blue Submarine number 6. Yeah, yeah. So kind of knew that was going to happen though, but Blue Submarine number 6 feels like a serious anomaly in terms of what Toonami currently airs. Blue Submarine number 6 is a 4 episode OVA series rather than a full season of an anime. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in fact, if I don't know if you remember this, but I actually recently did a This Day Needs History on Blue Submarine number 6. Um, Actually, only did last for like 4 days. Um, which they almost never indulge in now. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be kind of hard to do so because a lot of times OVAs don't last that long, anyways. Some OVAs are as short as 2 episodes. So, and a lot of times they're probably trying to find longer series, so that they have, they don't necessarily have to think about, a high changeover. The series takes a post-apocalyptic look at a bleak world where oceans have flooded the planet and vicious animal hybrids roam the world. Blue Submarine number 6 signals Toonami trying to make more risk with its choices, but the OVA trend would quickly end for the block. Yeah, because again, a lot of OVAs don't last long to begin with. So let's see. Yeah, this winner, I'm pretty sure didn't do, or yeah, this writer, I'm pretty sure didn't do his research. Probably just Googled what aired on this time for. Well, I don't know if it's that because the article itself says in chronological order. Okay, and the first, let's see, let's go back to the title of this article. Konami's first 10 anime in chronological order. So on that statement, that's basically the first 10 anime that they had that debuted on Toonami. And I know that Yu Hakusho didn't come around until 2002, because I looked that up myself. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks it's not on the list here because, it would be nice to see it on the list, but it came quite a bit after all of these. So the number one anime here, I guess the most recent of these 10, of course, is Outlaw Star. January 15th, 2001. So we're almost done with this article here. Let's see. Blue Submarine was great. It was like Waterworld with Island of Dr. Moreau feel to it. Hmm. Yep. Okay. All right. So now the last on this list here, Outlaw Star. Um, 2001 brought a lot of new anime to the block, with a handful of more Gundam series. Um, the original Dragon Ball and the cult hit Big O, the Big O. Outlaw Star may seem derivative of out of other space travel anime series, where unscrupulous pilots, bounty hunters, and pirates soar the universe, but it helped mark a turning point for Toonami, where they became more receptive towards anime of this nature. Um, the anime also caused major Toonami controversy with the removal of the anime's infamous Hot Springs episode. Outlaw Star also experienced a surprise return to Toonami in 2017 in brand new HD. Now, as I understand it, the removal of the Hot Spring episode, I think, basically had them all at a hot spring. Now, we have to remember too, is Toonami back in this time was basically an afternoon, early evening block. Okay, so considering that if you've watched enough anime, you know that a lot of anime have a hot springs episode. Okay, a lot of anime do. It's like ATC. Hello, how you doing, man? Anonymity's here too. Hey, got home, going to make something to eat. Evening, little. Yeah, hey, anonymity. You missed the very article that you want that you had suggested I read. I'm just finishing up the article that you picked up on last night. So, okay. Hey, anonymity, how goes? Eat well, buddy. And we got Action Toys. Sorry I'm late. Got caught up with fixing a toy. That's okay. We have 5 stories tonight. You just missed one because I was going through. We got a couple of Toonami stories tonight, guys. Then I've got a couple of Attack on Titan stories, and then a Sailor Moon story. It's all anime tonight. The news stories. So, hey, toys, how are you? Hope your projects go well. I'm doing well. I fixed some Skeletor Dragon Blaster armor. Yeah. So this first article was Toonami's first 10 animes in chronological order. So these were like oh, we got 3 people in here now. So yeah, so let me see if I need to finish. Let's see. Oh wait, no, we pretty much completed this. And for those of you who missed the article here, I'm gonna just go back up slowly. So basically, based in chronological order, Outlaw Star was the most recent of the first 10 animes by that Toonami had premiered. Second most recent was Blue Submarine #6. Third most recent was Tenchi Muyo. Fourth was Mobile Suit Gundam. Fifth most recent was G-Force Guardians of Space. Basically basically a dub version of Gatchaman Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. Sixth most recent, Ronin Warriors. Seventh most recent, Dragon Ball Z. Eighth most recent, Sailor Moon. Ninth most recent, Robotech. And 10th most recent, basically what is considered the first anime to air on Toonami was Thundercats. Now, I know some of you are going to probably have the same thing, going to be thinking the same thing. What? Thundercats? That's not an anime. It was done by Japanese animators, but it was produced by Rankin Bass. So, evening action, toys. Oh, the nostalgia. All right, guys, I'm going to have to step away from the camera for a couple minutes, so I'll be right back. So you guys, and then when I get back, we'll go on to the next story, next Toonami story. Hmm. All right. Well, anyways, let's see what you guys have been saying since I was on. Well, how's everyone in chat doing? Plus, where's Batgoat tonight? I don't know. I was kind of well. I know he's told me before he usually will take Tuesdays and Thursday nights off to maybe go focus on, maybe got political streams. I guess. Hmm. He's probably doing some family stuff. That's true too. That might be a possibility too. I'm good, just making some tacos. Oh yeah, what happened at the end of last night's chat? I have no freaking idea. That girl, Jana hasn't returned. Anonymity. Ah, was I went ahead and subscribed. Like your intro video with the Draft Punk Tron soundtrack. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that anonymity. I mean, I went over to her channel and I left a comment on her discussion page. Hey, what in the world's going on here? Because this whole thing with her is now just getting stranger and stranger. It's like, is she her? Is she not her? Is she drunk? Is she stupid? Is she is she schizophrenic? Is she suffering with multiple personalities? I don't know. It's like it just seems like it's just causing more drama than really needs to be caused. Wow, we're thanks, Letta. Yeah, I have no, as I said, I have no idea. I mean, I was a bit more dumbfounded. She like comes in here the very end of the stream. That's why I ended up going like past 2 hours because I was trying to figure out what to do about her because I wasn't sure if I wanted to really bring her into the studio or not because you know discuss it. So, but anyways, let's get. We're already past that. It took me like 50 minutes, I think, to just do that one story. Of course, that was a list type story, so that's probably why it took so long because a lot of these CBR articles usually go really quickly. Here's the other two. Well, this one technically says Beyond Tsunami, TV's Forgotten Anime Block. And this is one that caught my attention because I, of course, like knowing about all the different anime blocks and cartoon blocks out there. I even make my own a lot of times. So, um, this is one that caught my attention as we were concluding this Adult Swim story last night. So, Beyond Tsunami, TV's Forgotten Anime Blocks. TV networks outside of Japan have tried since the 90s to set up anime blocks, but only Cartoon Network's Tsunami has survived. Now, just so you guys understand what a block is basically a time set aside for a specific type of programming, like an anime block, a soap opera block, you know prime time block, what have you. So when they're talking about block, it's time specifically set aside for a specific type of programming. So just in case you guys were wondering about that terminology. So anyway, so let's get into this. Anime blocks are a common TV broadcasting staple in Japan, with networks such as NHK, TBS, their TBS is Tokyo Broadcast System, not to be confused with Turner Broadcasting System here in the States, and Tokyo MX, all having dedicated schedules for anime. Um, it's quite common to see children's educational anime during the morning shows like Naruto and Pokemon during after school. Let's see. oh wait, children's educational anime during the morning, and showed I guess shows like Naruto and Pokemon during the after school hours, and shows targeted towards adults like Attack on Titan, during the late night blocks. Outside of Japan, though, options for watching anime are quite different. Today, there are mainstream streaming services like Netflix, which provide access to anime series that have previously aired, or even their own anime exclusives, as well as dedicated anime streaming services such as Crunchyroll and Funimation. But for international otaku in the past, these options were a dream yet to be realized. Anime had already been televised outside of Japan before the advent of streaming. And we know this because we were talking about it in the last article. I was telling you guys a number of series that had aired even before they made their debut on, I think what, four of the first five we looked at were like had aired previously previously in syndication before making their way to Toonami. With shows like Speed Racer and Astro Boy having been localized in the U.S. in the '60s, which I tell you because I even saw some of the reruns of Speed Racer in the early '80s when I was a kid. And the '80s brought with it the increase in anime, with more networks picking up, choosing individual animes to license, like the original Dragon Ball and Fist of the North Star. Robotech we talked about already. Voltron was actually a combination of two anime series. Voltron, the Lion Voltron, was from an anime series called Go Lion, and the vehicle Voltron was a series in Japan known as Dairuger 15, I believe. So, um, let's see now. Okay. G4 TV had a great anime block with Escride and Boogie Pop Phantom. Yeah, Escride, I think was also on Toonami for a while there. Block, not black. uh, anyways, okay. The best known anime block was Cartoon Network's Toonami, which began in 1997 and aired anime like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and Outlaw Star on weekday afternoons, with late night, midnight run expansion allowing for less censored anime. Mm-hmm. Met with incredible success, Toonami began the trend of anime blocks and is often credited with igniting the anime boom in the US. As with all successes, though, it opened the door for other competitors to try and achieve the same. And 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 here we over the course of the '90s and 2000s, audiences saw the rise of numerous anime blocks, all on different networks and under different names throughout their lifespans. There were the 4Kids anime blocks airing on Kids WB. Of course, the 4Kids, and the thing about 4Kids too is a lot of those were dubbed out of New York by 4Kids Entertainment as like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I think those were the two most well known. Then you had a few others in there too. Magical Do Re Mi. Was another one I think. Kirby Right Back at You. Well, Kirby Right Back at You was on Fox Kids actually. became the CW, and Fox Kids later becoming Fox Box. Sci-Fi's Saturday Anime and Any Monday, which changed to Sci-Fi, and Tech TV's Anime Unleashed, later switching to G4 Tech TV. Each of these television blocks attempted their own spins on anime in order to keep up with the competition, featuring unique selections of shows and specific times of broadcast. But as time would go by, all of these anime blocks would eventually be phased out and forgotten. The only exception is Toonami, which was eventually canceled in 2008 and later brought back in 2012 under Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block. So, what happened to all of these other anime blocks, and why are some more remembered than others? First off is Four Kids. We talked a bit about that. Forgot about those. One Piece. Yeah, One Piece was initially a Four Kids property, and then Funimation picked it up. And again, it was another situation, much like with Gachamon, where the Four Kids version of One Piece was very edited, trying to make it targeted more for kids. And then when Funimation got it, they basically revamped, basically reintroduced a lot of the more mature content. Starting with perhaps the most infamous and well remembered one of the bunch, Four Kids anime blocks were shown across different networks such as WB, the CW, and Fox. And pardon me a moment, I got to go off camera again for just a moment here. Sorry. Um, let's see. Audiences might remember some of the block's numerous names: Kids WB, Fox Kids, Fox Box, 4 Kids TV, the CW for Kids, and Toonzai. Regardless of the name, 4 Kids anime blocks were popular due to the shows that acquired the licensing for. In the late 80s, when 4 Kids was known as Leisure Concepts Incorporated, or LCI, company signed a licensing deal with Nintendo to market its games. Now, now, just a heads up, guys. 4 Kids entered. Now, I don't remember the exact name of the company way back when, but 4 Kids actually started out all the way back in April of 19. I think it was like April 28th, 1970. That's how far back 4 Kids Entertainment goes. Let's see if you guys respond to that. Stars Encore did an anime block. I was lazy about it and aired Vandred, but 4 episodes at a time, which was great as a kid. Oh my God, Leto, I love your intro video. It's funny. Um, it's funny if you understand fighting game competitions. Laugh out loud. Um, wow, 5 people. Goody. When Pokemon debuted in 19, okay, that's that's an anachronism because Pokemon didn't even begin in Japan until 1997. So this guy's already wrong on something here. Pokemon debuted in 19, yeah, maybe in 1998 it debuted on American TV, as I recall, because it didn't even debut in Japan until 1997, and began to take the world by storm. 4Kids was given the licensing rights for its anime adapt. Oh, okay. Maybe they're talking about the games. Maybe they're talking about the games when it said debut in '95, because I know the anime didn't debut until '97 in Japan. So, with the series becoming a pop cultural phenomenon in the U.S., 4Kids business boomed, and it continued picking up hot new anime series like Yu-Gi-Oh, Sonic X, Kirby Right Back at Ya, and One Piece, to name a few. While 4Kids is responsible for introducing many young viewers to the world of anime, its localizations are often remembered poorly and remain highly criticized by anime fans. The 4Kids versions of the show were highly censored and edited, and often for what was considered to be nonsensical reasons. Well, I think in that, though, I think what you have to understand is, as the name implies, 4 kids. So the idea was, I think they were trying to censor it because they were. It's kind of like what happened with Gachamon when it was originally licensed and dubbed here in the States back in '78. The people who were dubbing it were actually trying to gear it more towards kids, so that's why it was highly censored. See, I've disabled, I've dabbled, can't compete, arthritis won't let me have okay, um, fun. What about um, Shin Shinpokomon, whatever that is? Um, the writer of this article was born in '98. Uh, well, yeah, but I think now that I look at it, based on what he said just after that, he may have the game may have the Pokemon games may have come out in '95. You know, so I think that's the piece I was missing there. But let's see. Okay. Most fans point out the unnecessary removal of Japanese culture as the biggest offense, with Pokemon having the worst example of it. In the 25th episode of the 4 Kids version, for instance, the character Brock is holding onigiri or rice balls and continuously calls them jelly filled donuts. Yeah, I think I do remember hearing about this and how it was kind of. While these criticisms didn't hurt 4 Kids at the time, its anime blocks would eventually be phased out. In the late 2000s, the company went bankrupt, was forced to close down in 2017, citing difficulties marketing to children in competition with cable networks. Despite 4 Kids no longer existing, the company will always be fondly remembered for helping bring anime to younger audiences. but also infamously for its poor treatment of its anime series. Again, I think part of the problem, though, was, as I said, much like with the Gatchaman series, they were trying to market, or as they said in the article, their market towards kids. Um, Saturday anime. I guess this was an anime block on Sci-Fi. I guess on the Sci-Fi channel. Possibly the earliest anime block in the U.S. Sci-Fi Channel Saturday Anime began airing in 1995 with anime specials hosted by the live-action anime girl Apollo Smile, an actress known for anime dubs and her role as Eulala in Sega's cult classic Space Channel 5. Hmm. Let's see if we can find out exactly who that is. Let me take a quick peek. What's the name of that Space Channel 5? I guess there's no casting information on here. Oh well. Okay, so I like Sci-Fi's anime movie block was great. Armitage movies were great. Also, G4 and Gungrave anime. Um, that is a very underrated anime. Okay, so this anime block followed the Japanese tradition of airing in the late night, running from midnight into the early morning. While technically, while it technically aired before Toonami, Saturday anime wouldn't achieve the same success. This mostly stems from the anime Sci-Fi was able to license and chose to air. Keeping in line with the network's science fiction focus, Saturday Anime showcased more adult oriented anime in mostly movies or OVAs as opposed to long running series. As a result, the anime block didn't win over general audiences, same way Toonami did. What Toonami was able to. Well, yeah, because particularly with OVAs, very low, a lot of times a very low episode count. You could be through an anime within a couple weeks or a month. You know, let's see. However, Saturday Anime is credited with helping introduce viewers to classic anime films, including Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and uh, Yorusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer. Hmm. As the network underwent um, different owners, and was rebranded as Sci-Fi, Saturday Anime was also changed in 2007, renamed Sci-Fi's Annie Monday, and moved to Monday time. And I do kind of remember the Annie Monday one. This anime block continued to air different sci-fi and horror anime. Within a year, though, Annie Monday was shifted to Tuesday and then to Thursday in 2010 before being abruptly and completely canceled in 2011. While no official reasoning was ever given, Sci-Fi's cancellation of the anime block and anime broadcasting as a whole might be the result of changing the focus of content from science fiction shows to original dramas and paranormal reality shows. Let's see. Okay, so let's see as we continue. Wow, we're coming up on an hour and a half already. Unleashed, anime Unleashed. One of the later attempts at an anime block, Tech T. Okay, guys, considering how long it took me to get through these two articles, I'm gonna probably push back the other three articles I had intended to read tonight, probably to tomorrow night. Um, just simply because these two articles that I read here tonight seemed to have taken longer than I thought they would have. But anyways, so one of the later attempts at an anime block, Tech TV's Anime Unleashed debuted at the very end of 2002, had a very short-lived run. Within Anime Unleashed first year, Tech TV merged with G4, leading to the anime block becoming G4 Tech TV, Anime Unleashed. However, in 2005, the network relaunched as G4 and installed a new president who wanted to change the entire focus of the channel. Rather than a channel dedicated to video games, science fiction, and nerd culture, the president wanted to turn G4 into a male oriented channel with less focus on these aspects. You know, right. Oh my God. Yes. Who can forget G4 Tech TV? My childhood. All right. Excuse me a moment. I got to go off camera for just a moment, guys. Wow, we're losing people. We're down to like three people now. That serial experiments lane. Actually, it does look like it because I've seen that anime before myself. I like the opening theme to it. I think that is anonymity. Anime Unleashed was originally created to showcase science fiction anime and series with a focus on future technology, airing series such as Serial Experiments Lane, as you just mentioned, Anonymity, and Last Exile. This vision seemed to clash with the new direction of the channel, though an Anime Unleashed was dropped in 2006. technically less than 4 years after it launched. While G4 eventually ended its broadcasting in 2014, old archived versions of its Anime Unleashed website um, that the network was attempting to sell its anime programming in a more sleazy, risque way to fit with the new network goals. With its upcoming revival and refocus on nerd culture, it remains to be seen if G4 will ever attempt to fulfill its vision of a science fiction anime block. Tsunami! As for the best known anime block, Toonami remained strong until 2008, when it was canceled due to low ratings. However, it made a strong comeback in 2012 under Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block, showcasing some of the most popular current anime like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Attack on Titan, and Boruto. Toonami has remained at the forefront of anime distribution. It's even been collaborating with anime production companies such as Production IG and the anime streaming service Crunchyroll to broadcast original anime. With the ever increasing popularity of streaming services, only time will tell if Toonami's anime block will remain a staple of broadcast television. In the meantime, though, it serves as a warm reminder of the older days when these blocks were the only source of anime for fans outside of Japan. And that's the end of that article. Let's see. So originally I was going to try to do 5 stories for you guys tonight, but however, those 2 articles that I hold on a second. I gotta. Sorry, should have did this before I grabbed. I'll be right back. All right, so we're at an hour and 34 minutes, guys. Like I said, I'm thinking of pushing the other 3 stories tomorrow night because it took me so long to get through. Sorry. Let me see. No worries. I chat a lot. I hold, yeah, with my rambling, laugh out loud. Well, that's okay. I mean, at least we're managing the time that way. And considering you were the only one in here for quite a while there. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna probably move those 3 stories, the Attack on Titan stories and Sailor Moon story to tomorrow night. Um, So with that, we're kind of, as I said, we're coming up on, we're at an hour and 36 and a half right now. So I think it'd be a good time to start winding things down. So are you guys ready for this day in each history? Hey Woody, man, you got here late tonight. Let's see. Of course, hit me ready. Hey Woody. All right, so today being December 1st, 2020, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. Just give me a sec while I do a couple things. There's actually only a couple of things I was able to find tonight. Let's quick peek. Okay. Evening, Woody. Okay, so all right. So first off, we head back 75 years ago today. On this date in 1945, the Merry Melodies cartoon Nasty Quacks, starring Daffy Duck, would premiere in theaters on was released on this date in 1945, directed by Frank Tashin. This was the final Daffy Duck cartoon and the second to last overall, um, directed by Tashin. Directors not credited. Okay. All the voices of the male characters are performed by Mel Blanc. So on this date in 1945, the last Daffy Duck cartoon, Nasty Quacks, would be released on the theater screen. So what? Okay. And the other piece of niche news or niche history, on this date, 14 years ago today, in 2006, Marvel um, would release a bunch of promotional titles through Target stores. Um, they'd release a trade paperback series of um, of books, which would include Avengers: Heroes Assembled, a couple of Fantastic Four books, Marvel Heroes classics. But basically, on this date in 2006, 14 years ago today, Marvel would release a bunch of Target promotional books, a bunch of Marvel Target sponsored trade paperbacks. So on this date 14 years ago, Marvel would release a bunch of trade paperbacks through Target. So that's all that's on this day in each history. I once again thank you guys for joining me tonight. Those two articles that I read really were kind of a bit longer. I didn't expect those to be as long as they were, but thank you guys for joining me, and I appreciate all the likes and the shares. And hopefully, you guys will get here a little earlier tomorrow. That way we can get right into the news stories. Um, got three of them, obviously, for tomorrow night. So they remade that cartoon, Nasty Quack. It's called SJ. Okay. Ha ha ha. Thank you for the stream and have a good one, everyone. You too, Anonymity. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bye.